Alright everyone, let me ask you something. Have you ever gone to a petrol pump, paid 1,000 rupees, filled your bike and just left thinking it's a simple transactions? Because it's a not. What if I tell you that 100,000 rupees didn't just buy fuel, it actually helped strengthen the US state's economy? Sounds weird or surprising, right? But to understand this, we need to go back in 1971. In 1971, the United States made a bold decision. They announced that their currency, the US dollar, would no longer be backed by gold. This event is known as the Nixon shock. Now think about the impact of this until that point. Currencies had value because they were linked to something real, gold, but now the dollar was just paper. So the big question was, why would any country trust it anymore? Why would anyone accept dollar in exchange of real goods? The US had a serious problem to solve. And this is where the strategy came in. Instead of backing the dollar with gold, the US decided to link it with something far more essential, oil. Because no matter what happens in the world, in every country needs oil to survive. Without oil, there is no transport, no industry, no functioning economy. So the US approached the Saudi Arabia, one of the largest oil producers, and made a deal. They said, sell your oil only in US dollars, and in return, we will provide you security and protection. And Saudi Arabia agreed. And over time, all other oil producing nations, especially OPEC countries, followed the same system. Now let's understand the real impact of this move. If oil is sold only in dollars, then every country that wants to buy oil must first get dollar. So India needs oil, which means India needs dollars. Japan needs oil, which means Japan needs dollar. In fact, every country whoever needs oil, so every country needs a dollar. Without forcing anyone directly, the US made it its currency, necessary for global trade. This is how the dollar became dominant across the world. But the story doesn't end here. There is another layer most people don't notice. When countries like Saudi Arabia earn billions of dollars by selling oil, they don't just keep that money idle. They invest it back into the United States. They buy US government bonds, invest in American banks, and put money into financial markets like Wall Street. So effectively, dollars go out into the world when oil is purchased, and those same dollars came back into the US economy through investments. This cycle is known as petrodollar cycling, and it plays a huge role in keeping the US economy strong. Now think about the kind of power this system creates. The United States can print money and the world will still demand it. It can borrow money and other countries will fund it. And if any country tries to challenge this system, it can be restricted from using the dollar. That means no smooth international trade and no easy global transactions. Countries like Iran and Iraq, Russia have already faced such restrictions. So even without direct conflict, the system gave the US massive control over the global economy. However, things slowly starting to change. Countries are beginning to question this system. China and India promoting its own currency. Russia is reducing its dependence on the dollar, and even India is exploring the alternative payment systems. The system is still strong, but there are clear signs that the global order might shift in the future.